So, Tanem, what is it that you really find that you struggle with the most?
Well, I don't even really know to be honest, because there's just like a lot of things that builds all of that up. And I don't know, it's always what people label you and what everyone else follows along with. Yeah.
So, when you say like label you, are you feeling like people judge you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What sort of like labels do you get a lot of? Like what's the sort of general, oh, she, that's what people put me into this
Yeah.
box.
Yeah, at the time when I was in secondary, people would always label me annoying. And when one people believes in that, obviously everyone else is gonna want to follow along because they're gonna want to be liked as well. And when one people think that, everyone else starts to like come in and they're just like, oh, she's so annoying. So like no one would ever speak to me. And yeah,
So one person sort of said that, and then it spread. Now everybody's saying that Tanem is annoying.
yeah,
Yeah. So that happened in secondary school.
yeah.
Do you feel like you've got that label throughout life, or did that sort of stop when you left secondary school?
I feel like it carried on
Mm,
because a lot of like people they'd always like there was this one girl in particular, I don't want to say names,
no.
and
Yeah.
she would always come up to me and she'd be like, oh, like this that happened, like her dad was having troubles with her mum. So then I told her that obviously me and my dad always didn't have like the best relationship because my dad was disabled, and then she went and told everybody, and then obviously when people started seeing my dad, they
Mm.
were laughing at him in his face and coming up to me and like kind of bullying me for having like a dad with problems. And it was just hard growing up in general.
Mm. So so it stemmed really from that interaction with that one particular girl, sort of betraying your
Mm.
trust a little bit.
Yeah,
Would you say that's right in terms of you've been betrayed by somebody that you deemed was she a close friend?
very close. And
Mm,
I've also been betrayed by another girl from like a dance school on like that left like a trauma.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. And is this was this in your adult year? So how old are you now, Tanem?
I'm 18.
18. So you left
Mhm.
secondary school at 16.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you moved forward. Um,
Mhm.
so have you struggled with developing new relationships and new friendships then because of those incidents?
100%. I've been to therapy. They never really did anything. And obviously, I've gained depression and very bad anxiety. Now, when I speak to people, I start shaking uncontrollably. Like, I generally can't communicate with people anymore because of those things.
Mm.
And yeah,
You communicate fabulous. As you're talking to me,
thank you.
I'm just like you are such a good speaker. I understand that you have these beliefs about yourself, but from what I can see, it's not true
Thank you so
because
much.
you present yourself in such a confident way in that nobody would be able to tell if you're not. Do you know what I mean? Nobody would be able to
Thank
tell.
you.
But it all starts within the mind, doesn't it? So when you went to therapy, how did you feel? So they didn't really, you felt like they didn't really do much. It let you down. You didn't really get much
No,
from it.
yeah.
What is it that you
What
wanted
is
to
it that
achieve
you
from
want?
that session or those sessions? How many sessions did you have?
I've had like three. And
Hmm.
then after that, we stopped it because it wasn't doing anything. Well, in them sessions, I wanted to feel like at least I wanted to feel like heard or like
Mm,
someone was really seeing what I was going through,
mm.
but not really. It felt like they just wanted to get their job done really, and they just weren't really caring enough for what I had to say. Yeah.
Do You feel like you would ever go back to counseling, or has that sort of impacted your thought process around counseling now because you didn't have a great experience?
Yeah, 100%. They made me feel like I was crazy, you know. It just didn't feel nice to be there. It was like a really off vibe.
When you say they made you feel like you were crazy, in what sense? So yeah, in what sense?
Crazy as in like I was so like mentally disturbed that everyone was running away from me and that I was so caught up in my problems that I just turned into someone that wasn't like me, like
Mm,
someone that's depressed and just kept to
mm,
themselves. And
mm.
yeah.
Well, from everything that you've explained in this short space of time, it seems quite
Mhm.
evident as the impacts that have had the significant impacts on your life have been the distrusting, being betrayed by friends, and you not being able to trust anybody, and you almost carrying on those beliefs of the impacts of what people said when you were in school. It's almost stuck with you, and you've carried that on. Um,
Mm.
do you feel like those beliefs about yourself? Do you believe that you're annoying?
Maybe, yeah.
What makes you believe that?
Um, I don't know, it's just some people just said it so much that I started to believe in it myself. And then I had to go through a process of changing myself fully because I dropped out of school. I started homeschooling because it turned into physical bullying.
Mm,
Um, so I just like I kept to myself, and in that time where I was alone, it just felt like, maybe they were right, and maybe I just had to like change myself. So I changed myself and I became like a more quieter person, like with their head down. And yeah, pretty much.
do you feel happier with the quieter version of yourself?
Well, it's hard to say because, I used to be like that kind of, in them friend groups where there was like that jokey friend. Yeah, like I was one of those. And I don't know, I felt like I was happier then, but I hated the way people looked at me. And now, like, quiet, I can't really do much. And it's just like, oh no, I wish I never left because I kind of let them win. But, you know, kind of, yeah.
Yeah. And because you're struggling with your anxiety and making those connections again based off of what previous people have seen, it's like you're in this position now where you want to grow and
Mm.
you just want to be able to overcome those barriers, which are your beliefs. So the barriers and the obstacles that you're facing are the beliefs that you have about yourself, which is, I'm annoying because seven people said it, so it must be true. So what I want to do is sort of explore those belief systems that you've got about yourself, because to identify a truth, to identify your belief that you have based off of what somebody says is not truth. It's just somebody's opinion. Because I'm sure if you asked your closest network of people, they wouldn't say that the people that truly love you, they wouldn't say that Tanem is annoying. So the truth behind that statement is baseless. It holds no weight. What they've said to you is purely based off of their perspective. People say nasty things sometimes, but really, when people project like that, what they're doing is they're projecting something that's very broken within inside themselves. It's never actually about you, and that sometimes
Mm.
we don't realize. We think, oh, I must be because they're saying it. Well, actually, something inside of you triggers them. It does. Something inside of you triggers them to even say that, because you wouldn't feel at your happiest when you're
Yeah.
bubbly and you're outgoing and you're the party of the group and you're the life and soul of the party, you feel happy like that for a reason because that is who you truly are. So if somebody's saying that you're annoying, they're not talking from a place of who you are because who you are truly is beautiful. You know, a beautiful young woman with great prospects. And when you start to live in your truth, all of the people that are for you will gravitate towards you. So I'd almost look at it like a gift that they've shown their true colors and they're no longer around
Yeah.
because,
It just felt sad because like at that age, like you're gonna want to have friends, like a large
yeah.
crowd that would support you all the way. And just not having that, it makes you feel lonely and like you're no one almost.
Mm. Would you be open to establishing new connections now?
It really depends because, after all of that, I feel like, it's better to be on my own, but at the same time, I feel like it would be nice to have other people around. So I'm still stuck in the middle.
Hmm. What do you think that what do you think it will take for you to step out?
Um,
What do you think will have
I
to
don't
happen
know.
for you to push yourself to go to those next levels and start exploring the world and seeing if you can develop new connections, going out, exploring what you like and getting to know yourself again? What do you think it will take for you to do that?
I feel like in order for me to do that, I have to build the connection with myself again. Because as much as I would love to, meet other people, I can't do that without really knowing who I am first.
Mm,
And that's been like a trouble for me because I don't really know who I am yet.
mm.
But once I figure that out, I think maybe I would give it like a try.
Okay, that is amazing. And so you wanna figure out who you are. Okay. So what does that involve? What does that look like for you? Do you work at the moment? Do you have what does your life look like at the moment? This is exciting.
Okay, so I do acting and,
Oh wow.
usually musical theatre.
Yeah.
So I don't really have like much free time usually, but
Hmm.
because it's holiday, I get to like chill a little bit. Um, yeah, I do like piano, violin. I do two drum schools that I still attend, and I've did it since I was 3 years old. I go Royal Academy of Dance, and I'm gonna try to, master them.
Tanem. Oh my gosh. You have so many strings to your bow. Violin, acting, performing arts. Oh my gosh. So you have lots of you have lots of things that
Thank
you
you.
you enjoy. Oh my gosh. Wow. Huge that you are going to get to know yourself. You are going to get so you have lots of hobbies and you're very busy. Do you,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you feel because it seems like are you happy with all of those things that you're doing?
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah.
Hmm. Do you think that there's what else can Tanem do to get to know herself even better because we've got all of the likes, the hobbies and things. What ways do you feel like you can reconnect with your authentic self? What else do you think is out there for you?
Honestly, I don't even really know how to like put it. It's just I want to be left on my own for a little bit with like no one and just, spend some time by myself, maybe go out by myself and see how I really feel about everything and just try to get to know myself better again to
That's
see what I like
beautiful.
and don't like.
That is
And yeah.
beautiful. What a great way. Because then I do agree with you. Then you're gonna really find out wow. So you like alone time.
Yeah.
What is it about alone time that enables you to connect with yourself?
Mm. it just makes me comfortable that I don't have to worry about what other people think about me because I can't be judged by anyone when I'm alone. So I just feel like I could be whoever I want in my little space and no one will really care because there'll be no one to see it.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're judged at all when you're doing acting, theatre, playing the piano, and people are watching? Do you ever feel judged in that environment?
A lot. So there was this one time where I was right in the middle of performing in this big theater, and I had like these rainbow hair extensions for my character. So I did look a bit funny, right? And then someone from my school was right in front, and she started filming, and then, it got around the school,
Mm.
and I wanted to quit acting, but my mum, she's really helpful. I talked to her and my family supported me. They were like, you're not gonna leave acting for this girl, obviously. And then I was like, you know what, I'll give it a chance. And then after that, yeah. But it was like really a bad stage for me in my life.
Was that when you were in school?
Yeah.
Hmm. See, a lot of the impacts happened when you were at school, didn't they? A lot of incidents
Yeah.
happened that have impacted how you feel later on in life. And I think that happens a lot with younger people that, people say things, they do things, and, you know, and then it has this major effect as an adult. So like the beliefs that you have about, you're highly impacted by how other people feel about you.
Yeah.
So
It's just the thing that this generation doesn't really know. Even
mm,
like a word or like a hug can fix anyone. But it's just this generation is so like full of its own that they don't really care. Everyone's like stubborn and like self-centered. They only care about like what they are and what they're gonna be. That they don't really care. Like anything they do for their popularity might affect others. And that what breaks me the most. Yeah.
what do you feel like you can do that will build up your confidence so that you don't feel like you care about what others think, or you don't feel, what do you think that you can do to improve your confidence?
Confidence. Well, to be fair, acting's been helping me out because, I'm on stage 24/7. But I don't really know, to be fair, because now that obviously acting, I don't think I can get used to it, you know, because there's always going to be people around me saying, oh, you did bad at that, or like, I can't change people's opinions or what they think in their heads. So I think that's always going to haunt me.
Well, I guess because like you said, from what you're saying, you're to be on that stage and know that you're going to be critiqued. Do you not feel like you're going to be able to continue acting because of this fear that you have? Or do you think you will be able to
Um,
continue acting?
well, in my plans, I'm not like thinking to leave acting at all
Hmm.
because like my family is really supportive on that and they want me to finish it and master it fully because I've just started getting jobs as well, like ads and stuff. So I think leaving now would be like a huge mistake since I'm already in it and I've been doing it since I was 3. So I think that'd be a huge mistake. So no, I'm probably not gonna leave.
No, yeah. I was just trying to clarify on where you were going with that. See, that's a huge confidence boost for you to have been doing it since you were 3 years old and to still be continuing to do it now. Like that really, you have to be a confident person to be on that stage or to be in front of that camera. But I feel like because it's what you enjoy doing is why you're continuing to do it.
Yeah.
Do you feel so? What areas of your life do you feel? What were you going to say? Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say, like, even though I have all of these career options for me right now, and all these strings, people always come at me and say, "Oh, she's happy. Like, we don't have to worry about her because she already has everything she wants." But I don't think people see that that's not really the case. Yeah, I might have everything I want, but that doesn't like guarantee my happiness or what's going on in them classes. Because obviously, there's people here and there, even in them classes, that are going to like try to get rid of you in a way. Because obviously, this career is very competitive and it's never going to
Mm.
stop. And people just don't recognize that enough.
What keeps you going? What keeps you going then, even with all that pressure?
Probably because I like people don't say it to my face, but obviously I hear it like going around and they're like, oh, she's never gonna do this, right? She's never gonna get there. I'm probably gonna beat her, even though I don't have like that much education as her on this. And I think that probably keeps me going because I want to prove them wrong in a way.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like I'm gonna prove you wrong. So the will and the fact that people are betting against you is what's keeping you going. What other
Yeah,
areas do you feel? You see, what you're saying and what you're displaying is different because it's although you're probably not aware of your confidence, you're probably not aware of how strong you actually are. Because to do all of those things, some people just would not get up on that stage at all. They couldn't think of anything worse. I'm talking people that are exude confidence. They wouldn't even be able to, they wouldn't dream of doing anything like that. So you should be really proud of yourself. And
thank
that
you.
has clearly given you a lot of confidence. So, other than that, what areas of your life do you feel not so confident in? It's because it's almost like you haven't quite believed your confidence. It's still like you're doing acting, but it's something still not quite clicking, is it?
Yeah. Um, so again, when I was in school, there would always be like, the group of boys that would try to like embarrass everyone just so they could have like more popularity again. And this is when physical bullying like started, and I think that scarred me for like life. And that was like the worst time I could ever possibly think of in my life. So obviously I was sitting in class and this boy, he was like, oh, get off, I'm gonna sit there. And then I was like, this is my seat. So obviously I stood there, right? And I thought he would go away. But then he literally picked me up from like my uniform and he threw the chair and I fell on the floor. And then he got all my stuff from the table and he threw it all on the floor. So I remember that day very clearly. I rushed out the classroom crying. I didn't even sit there for the lesson. And I just went. I had this one teacher, she helped me out a lot. And she was like, oh, if anything happens like that, just come sit with me. You don't even have to be in that lesson. So I went and my mum came and I remember her crying and her just hugging me. And that was like the worst moment of my life. Yeah.
Wow. I'm very sorry that you had to witness and go through something like that because to be attacked physically is, you know, completely uncalled for, and nobody should have to be attacked for absolutely being who you are or being because you had a small altercation in the classroom. So clearly that will have had an impact on you because verbal is one thing and it can still leave lasting scars. But to now be physically attacked by somebody, at school is completely another thing. So essentially you were bullied quite a lot in school and yeah, verbal abuse, physical abuse, and it can take its toll. But you said that you've got a support network, haven't you? Your mom. It's really good that you've got that support network around you and that you've got family
Yeah.
and your teacher was there for you as well. Did that have quite a big
Yes.
impact on you as well, having somebody outside of your family to speak to? Was that important for you?
Very important because it felt like if anything happened, I could just run to her crying and she'd be there with open arms. And it just felt like, oh, someone cares about me, someone's there for me.
Mm.
Because usually when people are like, oh, yeah, you can talk to me anytime, like, I'll always be here for you, you go and talk to them, but it's not like they really care. And
Mm.
like, after that, you don't really have anyone to talk to, really. And there's just no one.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It can be very isolating if you have nobody to speak to whatsoever. Do you have anybody outside of your family at the moment that you speak to? Or no?
Not really.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm. So,
I don't really have friends. Yeah.
mm-hmm. So really at this point, it's you're focusing on yourself. You're owning,
Mm.
honing in on your hobbies. What would you like to happen in the next 3 months?
I probably want to, get my acting career higher. Maybe, I don't know, my biggest dream right now that I'm focusing on, maybe getting in films or something.
Mhm.
And,
Okay.
yeah, that's my main focus.
So acting and films. So with regards to
Mm.
your anxiety and the obstacles that you face, what would you say is the main obstacle that you're struggling with currently in your life right now that you want to sort of overcome?
Leaving the past behind because
Hmm.
I genuinely can't let go. Like, I've tried stuff to maybe leave it behind. I've tried, therapy books where you would feel really bad. You write your feelings in a book. But I just feel like I just can't leave them behind because whatever I do or try to say, it will always like leave a scar deep in me that I can't get rid of.
Mm. And nobody can tell you how you feel or how to feel and just say, oh, let it go and then that's it. Because I think that what it has to, counseling is very good for obviously specific counseling designed to work through trauma. So trauma informed counseling is really good to work through those different things and those different issues because they are specific issues. And letting go is a part of moving forward. Absolutely. So you've already almost explained what it is that you need to do. Now it's figuring out how you can let go of everything and move forward so that you don't have to be burdened by the past. So it doesn't get brought into your future. How do you think that you can let go mentally of all of the things that you've faced and move forward? How do you think you can do that?
That's a tough one. I don't really know how to let go because almost everything now triggers me. Like if someone even raises their voice at me, I just start like crying and shaking really bad
Hmm.
because it feels like I'm reliving those moments again. So I generally don't know how to, move on. Yeah.
So you definitely have trigger points. This is why I think that counseling would be really good because it would identify um, what those triggers are and how to work and how to manage your emotions when you're triggered. So you say that shouting is a trigger for you. So when people shout and when people say things, your body reacts in a specific way in that which you are able to control, not able to control. What would you say that was?
No, it's almost like I can't breathe anymore and
Mm,
like my vision starts getting blurry and like dark. It's like a panic attack
hmm.
and I just genuinely can't control it. I feel like I'm gonna pass out in that moment.
Hmm. Like a panic attack, like you say. Like I think from what you've said, um, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, would be really, really beneficial for you, just as an insight from you speaking. But letting go, because I'm a support worker for young people. So what I tend to say to anybody that is facing or struggling with dealing with those triggers is to understand that you have a choice. Now, that's not always easy to them in those moments to understand that you have a choice because what you're able to do in those triggering moments, you have to recognize what's happening.
Mm.
Not many people do that. Not many people actually observe themselves whilst something bad is happening. Sometimes you haven't got time. If you're walking down the street someone's shouting at you, are you really going to remember? Oh, actually, yeah, I've got a choice here. Do I? But if you can get to a place of which you can identify that, okay, this is a trigger for me. It's understanding what your triggers are. So shouting is one of them. What else is a trigger for you?
Um, like maybe sudden movements.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. And like some triggers, like, oh, sorry, I can't speak. Some triggers I can't even like, I don't know. It just happens in that moment.
Hmm.
And then I feel like this big fear coming over me.
Hmm. It
Yeah.
activates almost a physical response. So some of the triggers for you aren't even identifiable. You couldn't even explain what they are. It's just that your body almost goes into fight or flight mode, and it's just
Yeah.
boom. Is that
So
right?
there
Yeah.
was there was a yeah, there was a moment yesterday I was in dance class and there was this girl that really gave me trauma in my old ballet class. So when I went to Royal Academy and there was that same music that was playing while everything was happening in the old school, yesterday I just froze, like I couldn't even dance anymore. I just stood there and I started having like a full-blown panic attack. And like even music or objects that was there at that moment, it triggers me. Mm.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes they're not even things to do with anything. Sometimes it's a what did that girl do that triggered you? Was it somebody that you say that somebody that you knew?
It was my best friend since childhood. So I've known her for like 10 years.
Hmm.
And I was in the changing room and she was recording me and she put it on her Snapchat story.
Hmm.
So then my friend, she was on the slight spectrum for autism. So her mum's overprotective of her. So she went and told her mum, she called the police and the girl that was filming me, like, oh my, she started breaking everything in the dance school. And that music was playing in class while she was at the back breaking everything. So I think that triggered me. That's why.
It's a trigger for yeah. You seem to have been really let down by people that are closest to you.
Mhm. Yeah.
And there's been a lot of betrayal. So I can completely understand why you're facing these issues with moving forward and making new connections. But like you said, and I think which is really powerful, in that you understand that you want to let go of the past in order to move forward. It's just establishing a plan as to how to move forward. But I feel like a big point that you said, which was understanding, your triggers, is a key to identifying what they are. Number one, if you can, like you said, sometimes it's sporadic, but also understanding that in those moments you do have a choice on how to react towards the situation. But I do believe that
Mhm.
that comes with building up your confidence and working on yourself, which is something that you are currently doing, but and you're moving forward with. So right now you want to utilize what you've got around you because we can only work with what we've got with where we are. There's no point in jumping 10 steps ahead. But I was just trying to establish really where you're at and what it is that you'd sort of be open to so that we can establish some good ways for you to move forward. So one of them would be establishing new connections with the people that you're already surrounded by. Do you find that there is those limiting beliefs in the way about yourself that stop you from making connections?
Yeah, because I always feel like, oh, if they found me annoying, they probably are gonna find me annoying as well. So like, I don't want to like disrupt anyone's peace by just, ruining it and going in. Do you get it? Like, it's yeah.
The truth is, Tanem, nobody cares about us. And what I mean by that is that sometimes we think that people are like observing at every like look and how we speak and what we do and what we say and everything like that. Everybody's so self-concerned with their own lives. Do you know how much stuff that people have got going on in their heads on a daily basis?
Mm.
There's that much stuff going on in their heads that we are quite egotistical to even think that they would be concerned about what we're doing. I've done it before. I'm like, oh no, people are gonna, nobody cares to them in the nicest way possible. Sometimes we think that people are bothered. They've got lives, they've got their own issues, they're suffering with their own mental health problems, they've got kids, they've got a family, or if they're younger, they've got school issues, they've got that issue, and sometimes they've got absolutely nothing going on in their head, and that's why they target you like they did in school and say, "Oh, you're not just random stuff," just because they're dealing within a conflict and they just want to go, "Huh, to them's annoying, pointless." It's pointless behavior because they've got nothing going on in their heads. But as they get older, and you'll realize this, as they get older, they will realize how silly their actions were. And I guess a lot of young people face these problems, especially in the world of social media, where everybody's so
Mm.
focused on looks and how everything's been presented, and people are picked apart for the smallest thing or the slightest thing. I guess when it is negative, you just know that it's coming from a negative place within. That's it. They're they're projecting onto you. Nobody that's happy is going to say negative things. Why? What for? So it just tells me that everybody at the time in school, and obviously you face that backlash and you face physical and verbal abuse from that. So and you felt the repercussions of their inner conflict because that's what it was. But nobody happy would say negative things. So that tells me that they were really struggling and they were really dealing with their own issues. They actually think that they're annoying. They actually have their own issues. It's nothing to do with you. They directed it at you, but it's actually nothing to do with you. It's just that you were what they deemed to be an easy target because bullies know
Yeah.
who to bully. And you probably are a very understanding, loving person, loves the family, really great friend. And
Thank you.
but like I said, bullies sometimes they can sniff out the person who's empathetic, who will tolerate a little bit more than that person over there that's just gonna bite right back at the slightest sign of, sometimes you look at people the wrong way sometimes and they'll just attack. So sometimes people will
Mm.
sniff that out in you and they'll be like, okay, yeah, she's empathetic. Let me just say this. And this is why confidence is such a big thing, and knowing who you are and building up that strength so that nobody can push you over. Nobody can say you're this and you're that. Nobody can tell you who you are to them. Nobody. Only you can tell you who you are. Nobody else. They can say things about you from their perspective, from their inner world, but nobody can tell you who you are. Nobody. I don't care what basis they're coming from or whatever. Only you know who you are. But because, as you said at the beginning of this conversation, that you don't really know who you are yet, is probably the reason why you've accepted that as a truth because you're not sure. Are they right? I might be though. I might be a little bit annoying. You know, mm, maybe I do this and maybe. So you're completely right in wanting to explore who you are because once you've done that, oh, you'll be a force. You'll be a force to be reckoned with on that stage. Oh, you'll be doing acting, this, that, going to this show, going to that show. Nobody can tell you. Nobody will be able to tell you who you are once you get to that place. And that's not a place that can be rushed. It's not a place that you want to, you know. So this is why I say you've got to start where you are with what you've got. But those kids in school, all they were doing was projecting onto you, and they will
Mhm.
realize in their adult life, as well as your friends, as well as your closest friends, all it was a projection of inner conflict that they might not even be aware of. That's the problem with kids. They don't, sometimes we don't understand what we're doing when we do it. They might have been dealing with a lot at home, they might have been mistreated. There's so many reasons. But when you have that understanding of where people are coming from as well, it allows you to empathize a little bit as you get older when you're out of the situation. If you recognize and realize that they were dealing with so much, you don't know what was going on at home. Could have been all sorts. They clearly were dealing with self-conscious issues, but they can see what you can't. That's why targeting you, because they can see your light, they can see your strength. They can see that Tanem actually, she does know, you do know who you are, Tanem. You just haven't realized it yet. That's all. That's all it is. You do know who you are, but you just haven't, those things haven't clicked into place yet. And they will. Do
Yeah.
you feel like you, do you feel like giving up?
There's times, yeah.
What keeps you going?
Probably my mom, because I just want to make her proud, and I don't want her to be like, oh, like, I don't want her to feel like, oh, I've done this and she's just wasted all of it. Like I've spent money on these classes and she's just throwing it all away. Because she really cares about this career. She wanted me to go into this, and I do too. And her passion was this because she didn't get to study this at her times, and she wants me to have her dream. So I want to carry it on for her and show that I can do it for her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do Is there anything else that keeps you going?
Not really.
Mm-hmm. I believe in the conversation that we've had that you said proving people wrong.
Yeah.
So
That also.
yeah, 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 proving people wrong that, you've said this, so I'm gonna prove you wrong, basically, oh, Tanem won't do this or she won't, I'll beat her in this. You were very adamant that no, I'm gonna prove you wrong. If you weren't doing acting, what would you be doing? What else do you
Mm.
like?
Well, I was thinking maybe like lawyer or
Mm.
like criminology, something along those paths.
Mm. What's your interest in law?
Um,
It's something that
Law
intrigues
is
you.
that, yeah, it intrigues me, and I just want to help people out because I didn't really have the chance to help myself. So I want to show people that there's like always light, and they can always have like this outcome that can prove people wrong, but also make them right.
Mm. Because you said that you're very empathetic. You're very empathetic
Mhm.
and you care about people. I'm trying to see where that can fall in, really, because acting is one thing, but you've got a long life. You're only 18. So can you think about, like, all of the things that you can achieve, like all of the prospects, that all of the possibilities that are there, really. I'm just also I can see that, like you said, you care about people, and taking a route down that would be obviously an option. It's having options, isn't it?
Yeah.
Options as to what you can do. And if you care about people, being a lawyer, I mean, that is, you're fighting someone's corner there. You're fighting for, depending on what side you're standing on, prosecution or defense, depends. But it's definitely a rewarding career, I can imagine. if you are passionate about it. Do you believe that you're passionate about acting?
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
Mm. You've been doing it since you were 3 years old, so you've clearly, I bet you've got it down to a T, haven't you? But you're fabulous. Yeah. So you've got some really great things to look forward to, really, really great things. And as well as, you were what, anything else other than a lawyer and, um, what else you say, criminology? Anything else other than that?
Well, there was a point in life where I wanted to help out animals, like with no homes, like animal shelters. Because I've seen people mistreat animals so much to the point like I just wanted to cry. Like I just wanted to help them. Like I want a home for like everyone. Yeah, because it's not fair if humans get this like upper advantage of like, being able to speak and tell people their problems. And like for example, dogs can't really, and I just feel bad because I think all living like things should have a chance to like, be safe and have a place to stay.
Wow.
Mhm.
You really get into it, don't you, when you speak about animals? Have you got animals yourself?
Yeah, I've got 3 dogs.
Nice. I bet you're best friends, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. Have you got a favorite out of all of the three? Who's the favorite?
I have this little puppy chihuahua called Lyra. She's my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. There's always I haven't got any animals, but I can just there's always one, isn't there? There's always one. Ah. Well, you never know in the future, Tanem, you're just at the start, the life's journey. You're right at the beginning. I'm in the middle. I'm 35. I'm in the middle. Someone called me middle age
You
the other
look
day. I
so
was like,
young.
yeah, I'm 35. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you're right at the start of your journey. So this is so exciting. You've got so many different things to look forward to. Like
Mm,
you don't know where your path's gonna go. Wow.
yeah,
I'm excited for you. So the first steps would be developing some more relationships and really getting that confidence within you back because you haven't lost it. You haven't lost it. It's still there. You just got to find it. Nothing's lost. Still got it. You've still got it, Danam. So building some connections, um, and really loving yourself. I believe that those are the two things that I feel like I've taken away from this conversation that I can see that those would be good action points for you. Would you agree?
yeah,
Loving yourself is such an important part of it all, and understanding who you are. Understanding who you are is probably the basis of it. So you see like all of the problems that we think that we have, like, okay, I'm not able to do this. Your speaking will improve when your confidence improves. When you know who you are, your confidence will improve. It like when you know who you are, it eradicates everything else. That speaking that you're because throughout this conversation you've spoke so beautifully, clearly, with confidence. Like it's almost like I don't know what you're talking about to them. You're giving me full girl boss vibes. Knows where she's going, knows what she wants, knows what she's doing, knows that, potentially, you have other likes, lawyer, looking after animals. You've understood a little bit more about yourself. Not that you didn't know that you were empathetic, that you care, but that's clearly come out in the conversation is that you care a lot for people, you
mm,
care a lot for animals, you care a lot about your family, especially. But when you
yeah,
focus on you and what you want and what you like and what you want for the future, that is where everything else will become a lot clearer and that confidence will improve and that everything just improves speaking, communicating with people because you'll know what you want then, truly. You'll know what you want, truly. You're on your way. But thank you for joining me today, Tanem. It's been a pleasure
thank you for
speaking
having
with
me.
you. That's okay.
Pleasure speaking to you too.
Thank
Thank
you. And
you.
I wish you all the best for the future. All right.
Thank
Thanks, Tanem.